Hey everybody, welcome to today's Gootzcast. I'm here with Alison Klemp. Alison, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Okay, cool.
So far, so
Yeah, Alison's one of my favorite people on Facebook. And she also was really good
good.
on
And in
my.
real life, I think.
Oh yeah, real life too. Yes,
She
yes.
just
Be
fits
funny. It's
her.
like I hate her in real life.
She's a terrible hang, great on Facebook. So actually, this quarantine is the best thing that's ever happened to her.
Yeah, it'd be funny. There are people though who I really like in real life, and on Facebook they come across as complete monsters.
That's usually
Yeah.
how it goes. People have said that about me, to be fair.
Oh really? I like your statuses. So
Thank
like.
you.
Yeah, and then don't get into a fight with her on the social media because you'll literally you're like Brock Lesnar. I don't know if you know who that is, but when you fight with someone on the internet, you're ready to kill them. So I think that's fun.
I'm trying
Yeah,
to be better about that.
because
But
people are literally dying in the real world, so you probably shouldn't kill them on the social media.
yeah,
Um,
I also worry about like things coming back to bite me in the future, and
yeah,
you know.
it's so funny. You never know. Like you may think someone's just a jerk off open micer who like is insanely right wing, and then like 2 years later they like run. Well, none of these comedy clubs are going to be out of business in a few weeks, but they run like a huge comedy club. You're like, oh fuck, now I gotta be, you know what I mean? Now this guy won't book me because I yelled at him on Facebook.
Also, just everybody takes things out of context so much, and
Hmm.
like, you might not mean something in a certain way, but people will take it that way, and then it just makes everything worse.
Yeah, Allison. Before our lives ended, how long did you do stand up comedy?
Um, almost, what year is it?
2020.
Like 8-ish years, I
Yeah.
guess.
Okay.
I had like
Cool.
sort of I did comedy for the first time, and then but I wasn't like in it. I was just like kind of dabbling, doing it very occasionally, and then and that was when I lived in Colorado, and then I moved to New York like 8 years ago, and that was when I started getting like serious about it. So
Hmm.
that's what I kind of quote as my start time, but there was like an extra year-ish behind that where I was like had the dream, but I had done it, but I wasn't doing it.
Yeah, you weren't like doing it all the time and stuff. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, when was your last show before this all got shut down?
March Madness at Caroline's.
Oh, that was your last show?
Yeah, I was supposed to have a spot the next night, but I ended up canceling it because of coronavirus. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
I
And
really hope I get to do stand up again because that was a terrible note to end honest.
you lost, right? I don't mean to rub it in your
I
face, but
lost like horribly. Like it was painful. And like it's a bit that I love, that I stand by. It's like one of my favorite bits.
hmm.
And so whatever. For I opened it a little bit differently, so maybe that was why. But like either way, it was just like very painful 2 minutes. And like I didn't even really get pity claps. Like,
Oh,
and there was like some garbage that people were like clapping for. Like all the comments in the back were like, how are people enjoying this? And then like I didn't even get that. So yeah,
oh, that sucks. That's shitty. You broke up for a second, but you like were saying like there was like some really shitty like jokes that people clap for, right?
yeah, basically. So I'm gonna close some other stuff on my computer.
Okay.
I have like a shitty little Chromebook. It's not even like a real computer.
Okay. Well, we can make it
Um,
work.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll make it
Uh,
work.
I impulse bought a refurbished MacBook Air.
Oh, is it there? Did you get it yet, or is it still about to come in?
No, I bought it yesterday or today.
Okay.
Can't remember.
No-
But yeah, it was actually pretty cheap. There's this website called Back Market.
Yes, I've heard about that. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right.
Whatever.
Uh,
If it works even a little, it's fine.
so let me ask you a question. So, our glorious leader, Donald Trump, is advocating that we go back to our lives on Easter Sunday. If you got called on the 13th to do a comedy show, would you do it? Or would you be like, fuck you, I'm staying in my house?
I mean, the way things are going, I'm probably going to say, fuck you, stay in my house.
Hmm.
But I mean, who knows? Like, if somehow, miraculously,
Yeah.
Trump has said, this goes away,
Hmm.
you know,
I like how they set a date like the virus is like is it like we're evicting the virus. Like you have to be out by the 11th.
Yeah, here's your eviction notice.
Yeah.
Here's your 2 weeks notice. You gotta go.
Yeah, you'll be better by that. It's like, but you've made zero progress in fixing this. It's like if somebody broke their leg and they gave them no rehab, they're like, yeah, but you'll walk on Tuesday and then you can just walk out of here. Like, but you haven't done anything to fix the leg. I know, but that's what we've decided upon.
Right.
Yeah.
I think there's like, because it's like he doesn't want the numbers to be bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's all about like branding and marketing for him.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what's gonna happen if we're like even gonna get more tests, you know. I think that he's gonna really try to like sweep this under the rug as much as possible, and I don't know how he's gonna do it, but
Yeah, I don't know how. I just don't know how they're going to go about this. Like the numbers in New York are going up exponentially. I think we're over 30,000 now in the state, and 21,000 in New York City. There's still people in this city that are like, it's not a big deal, which to me is like completely insane.
Yeah.
You know?
It's really crazy. Like I can't. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
but,
like I can see like if you're in Montana, being like it's not a big deal because Montana you could probably not get the virus in Montana.
You're already social distancing. Your whole life is social distancing.
Yeah. I can totally see somebody on Facebook all day in Montana just being like, fuck this, it's not real. But how can you like live in like Queens or Brooklyn or Manhattan and be like, oh, this is not that big of a deal?
Right? It's like, oh, you don't think it's a big deal? Why don't you go out to the Elmhurst Hospital and see the morgue fridge they have out front?
Yeah. What I'm worried about is that, you know, let's say they reopen on the 12th. People are going to storm the comedy clubs, storm the restaurants, storm the bars, and they're literally going to the numbers are going to go skyrocket up. And then we're going to see a real problem in the city. That's what I'm worried about. It's going to happen, you know?
Yeah. I mean, people are already like bursting at the seams, and it's like, we've been doing this like a week.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. Oh, somebody said to me, like, I had a debate with Eric Frost on Facebook. I don't know if you saw it. But he's like, are you willing to give up your life so someone's grandma can live? And I'm like, what did I give up? I've been sitting around watching wrestling. That's what I do all the time anyway.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Like 2 weeks ago, if I like wasn't going out at night and like didn't really feel like hitting the scene, it's good. Oh, maybe I'm depressed and maybe this is a problem and I should examine it. And now it's like, oh, I'm not going out. I'm a fucking hero. Okay?
Yeah. I'm going to be the one who makes it because I'm the one sitting on my ass watching Alf.
Grandmother, I said you're welcome.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just so funny to me. Like, I do feel like there's a lot of comedians who are going to rush the clubs, even if like the number is in the millions. They're going to be like, well, you know, and then I don't know. It's a scary thought to see what's going to happen that day. But also, I think the governor might be like, fuck you, Trump. We're not going to do that shit.
Yeah, he seems really intent on safety, which I guess is good, unless you're in jail, which I don't really care.
Yeah, have they now? I don't know if you stay up on this, but I heard a thing. They're letting people out of Rikers if you're like a misdemeanor, just because the numbers of victims are so high that they can't treat them all. Is that true?
Yeah, I don't remember the exact. I can just look it up.
Okay.
They're letting like some people out, but not like enough. Yeah, they released 300 people.
Oh, that's like
there are so many more people, both in Rikers and in New York jails, both city and state, that one are there for like very low level offenses. Like there's a guy who's like an activist who was like arrested for like protesting or something, who's serving like an 18-month stint in jail, and he's still in jail. He's still in jail at Rikers, and I don't remember his name, which would be better if I did right now.
Yes.
But you know, look it up.
Google. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Yeah.
It's on the internet. That's where I saw it. But yeah, and then there's like, I mean, I've just seen a bunch of number breakdowns of like the numbers of people who are like old, who are in jail, you know, and then like should be let out. And yeah, like so many more people who are there for like nonviolent misdemeanors. Like there's way more than 300, you know? So,
yeah. And I just.
More could be done. But
yeah, definitely could. I heard a thing that people in Rikers are sitting four at a table. They have to share utensils. They have to sleep next to each other. And that's why there's no social distancing being done at Rikers.
No, unless you're in solitary, which again, previously was a terrible thing that we were protesting and very against, and people were killing themselves because they're in solitary, and now they're dying to get in. Probably.
Oh, I would love to be in solitary if I was in Rikers. Actually, I feel like I am in the solitary and I'm loving it anyway. But that's a whole other point.
You have a bit more creature comforts than you would at Rikers, I think.
I know, that's true. That's true. You know what though? I have a very active imagination. I would just take naps all day. I dream some crazy stuff. So I'd have I'd probably go insane because I'd be just living in the dream world. But
You would probably go insane, but the benefit would be that you would not realize where you are, so you'd probably be having a pretty good time.
Yeah, and I would not get corona. And when everybody else dies, the door would just open. It'd be like The Walking Dead, where I just walk out like, where it happened to the whole city, and then I just take it, and then I just
Unless
take
the
it.
correction officer who feeds you has corona, and then gives it to you. And
That's
then you
true.
Alone in your cell.
That's true. You know what? Yeah, actually, so never mind about. Hey, wasn't Harvey Weinstein in isolation? And he got corona.
He has corona. I don't think.
No, I think he had a roommate.
Yeah, I don't think he was in isolation.
Yeah.
But he did get corona and is probably spreading it, so that's good.
That's good. Well.
But the thing is, like, we know that jails get segregated racially, which means that he's just spreading it to other white criminals, which is good.
But like, do they he's not with like neo-Nazis. He's probably with do they keep him with like other people who are more like white collar criminals or?
Probably. I don't know. I mean,
I know rape is not a white collar crime, but you get my point.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would guess that because of his status, they would not have him with neo-Nazis, but yeah. I don't know. I haven't checked in on him, to be honest.
Yeah, it's so funny because I'm like, well, they can't put him, like when you think of like, I hate to say, when you think of like a rapist, you think of someone like real grimy, and he is grimy, but like you think of someone who can handle themselves in prison, and like, well, they can't put him with them, and they're like, wait, why can't they put him with them? He's probably worse than most actual sex offenders that are in prison. He's been doing it for like how many years? 30, 40 years?
Many, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like he should be with them, but it just automatically think, well, he's just a little old guy, so they put him with other little old guys, but I don't know.
Little old guys who probably also rape people.
Yeah, that's true. He's just a little, yeah. And he's not really a little old guy. He's actually a big guy. He's made himself. It's so funny that hunching worked because 2 years ago I never would have called him a little old guy.
No.
I would have called him a big, hulking asshole. He's the type of guy that would have, if he had walked into, like Caroline's and I was the manager, he would have tried to get me fired. He was that type of guy.
For sure. I worked in a restaurant once and briefly waited. I wasn't the waiter for his table, but I was like helping out with it, and he's very intimidating.
Yeah, I get it. There's a lot of I met a lot of agents and managers that are very, very intimidating, and I once saw Norm Macdonald terrified of one, and I'm like, I said to him, "You're Norm Macdonald. Who cares? Because you don't understand. This guy could do so much for me financially." And I'm like, "Don't you have money? Again, you're Norm Macdonald. You know what I mean?" And he was terrified. It's just so funny to see you think once you reach a certain level, you're like, I don't care about this guy. The celebrities are still terrified of these agents and managers. It's so bizarre to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at what they can do, right? Like, fucking, what's his face? Barry Katz, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, that's a lot of power that he wielded, right?
Yeah, and guys like that are powerful, and I go, Mike Berkowitz.
Weinstein has connections to the Israeli special forces and shit, and Mossad and their intelligence agency. He's very legit. He had Israeli intelligence people were working for him, to cover up that whole story.
Didn't he have an agent befriend one of the women, like a James Bond operation?
Yeah. She pretended to be on her side and was trying to meet up with her and stuff. And, yeah.
That's a really
catfish, basically.
Yeah. That's imagine getting that. Imagine you're a spy. You think oh, I'm gonna solve nuclear. I'm gonna get nuclear codes and cure corona, and they give you your first assignment. It's yeah, you've got to get this rape case off Harvey Weinstein's back. You're like, wait, what?
Rape victim.
What happened?
It's just catfish is rape victim.
Yeah. Just catfish is rape victim. I'm not. You trained me in martial arts for 7 years. Yeah, I know. Maybe kick her in the head if he doesn't drop it. So.
I mean, to be fair, I think a lot of spy work is basically catfishing. You're pretending to be someone you're not.
That would be funny, a James Bond movie where he just has to pretend to some woman in Alabama. I mean, some guy in Alabama, he's a hot chick. And that's the whole movie, and he's like just annoyed, and they're like, "No, this is your assignment, Mr. Bond."
No, send me a picture of yourself.
And he completely messes it up, and the guy knows he's being catfished 3 seconds in. It's like,
why can't you video chat?
yeah, exactly. He's like, so I'm drinking martinis. She cannot
Oh, my
stand.
mom is here. She's sick. I can't.
Oh my god. So there was something else I wanted to. Oh, so I noticed on your Twitter you've been tweeting a lot about Joe Biden. You're not a fan of his, correct?
Not a huge fan, no.
Okay. I have
I
to admit,
unsubscribed from his newsletter.
you did. I have to admit, it is impressive that Trump is about to kill a few million of us to get the stock market back up, and Joe Biden is such a bad candidate that I still think he could actually win the election, even if majority of New Yorkers die. What do you think about Joe Biden?
I don't know.
You think Joe Biden could beat him, or?
Generally, I would say no.
Okay.
A week ago, even with coronavirus, I was saying, this is going so bad, and it's so like devastating for Trump how he's handling this. Now I think maybe Joe Biden could win.
Okay. Why do you think that? Because I know you've been against him on Twitter because did some new evidence come out about his sexual assault case, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some new things came out.
Okay.
Well, the reason I was thinking that was because just that Trump's mismanagement of this crisis was so bad, and that was being revealed for the fraud that he is,
Mm-hmm.
and people would see that and would vote him out.
Mm-hmm.
But then now it's starting to look. But then it's like there's so many people who aren't taking it seriously and who are just believing the bullshit that Trump is saying, and people are like taking that chloroquine pill that isn't.
That guy got killed off that.
Yeah, that guy died doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But like a bunch of people have been like trying to take it to the point that like Kaiser Permanente was like, okay, we're gonna stop putting this medication out because people are using it wrong. But then there's like people who have lupus and other things who need that medication,
Mm-hmm.
and now they can't get it. So it's like it's all fucked up. So that's all fucked up. But it's all about the appearance, and people are actually like in a good place. Like Trump's approval ratings right now are higher than they've ever been. They're not. I mean, they're like
insane to me. Yeah.
Like that, but like the fact, like that's like terrifying to me because I'm like, if even in this crisis, people are like buying into his bullshit and like feeling good about him, then now that makes me feel. Now I've come back around to now thinking that I don't think Joe Biden can win. So it's probably going to change a lot many times between now and the election. So who knows? And like technically the primary is not over yet. I know everybody is like trying to make it like, oh, it's over, like forget about it, Bernie drop out, blah, blah, blah. But it's very far from being over. Most states have not voted yet, I think, because like a bunch of states have like pushed back their elections, and I don't know, I think we need to give people the opportunity to vote. And if there's one thing the coronavirus has taught me is that we have no idea what the future holds. So
yes.
Anything can happen, and things that we never expected can happen. So
let me ask you this. Do you think that Trump might use this, although I don't think so the way he wants to sweep it under the rug, but do you think he might use it to delay the election?
I think he's going to try.
Okay.
I don't know that he can because the general election is like in the Constitution.
Okay.
So you would need like a constitutional amendment, which would require like 2/3 of Congress. And I don't think that would happen. But also I think it like vote by mail, I think is the move. And I think that every state, if they're not already, I hope they start like moving their process to like.
Well, New York had, my aunt used to vote by mail. My aunt Ruthie, who lived upstairs, you've been in her bedroom. She used to vote by mail, so they do have that in New York. I didn't mean it like that, but it was the green room for our show. But so she did vote by mail, so they do have that in place, at least in this state. So
yeah, they have absentee voting here. Technically, there's like certain requirements or whatever, like. It's for if you're not going to be in the county on election day, if you're sick or if you're caring for a relative or someone else who's sick and makes you, which I feel like either of those would be valid during this
Mhm.
time. And then like there's like a couple other like reasons, but it's like you just have to check the reason off on the form, and then they
Yeah.
send you a mail ballot. So anybody who's listening to this, if you live in New York or anywhere that hasn't voted yet, look at your state's Board of Elections and find out what the rules are for voting by mail or absentee ballot, and start the process now of getting that ballot in your hand, and get it sent off as soon as you can.
Yeah, and they still mail my aunt her ballot, even though she died but I got it last year. They still mail a thing to her house. I won't my house, yeah, because we live together. Listen, Allison, because I didn't really look into it, and I don't know if anyone here looked into it. Maybe they did. Do you want to give me like the details on the Joe Biden case, the sexual assault case?
Yeah, so the one that's like bad, that's like coming out now, her name is Tara Reid, not the actress.
Okay, I was like, holy shit, he
Different
ain't big. Yeah.
like Reade.
Okay.
But this is like back in the 90s, and she worked on Joe Biden's staff at Congress or whatever. And there was one day someone was like, oh, you need to go give this to Joe or whatever, like a bag or like a gym bag. And so she like went to go give it to him, and they're like in the hallway of one of the Senate buildings, but they're like in this kind of like alcove or something that's like out of view.
Mm-hmm.
And basically he like pushed her up against the wall and was like rubbed, all over her body, and she was wearing like a skirt and like no pantyhose because she said it was really hot that day.
Mm-hmm.
And he like went down her skirt and then went up her skirt, and then I think she might have like done something, I don't know, but he like stopped. She definitely indicated that she was not okay with it. And then when he stopped, he like kind of pushed her back up against the wall, and like he realized that she was very upset, and he was like, hey, it's okay, you're okay. And then, oh no, before he said that, he like looked right at her and he pointed at her and he said, you're nothing to me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then she had like a reaction to that, and he goes, it's okay, you're gonna be okay, like you're okay. And then he just like walked away.
That's
That's the nutshell version, basically, from what I remember. But there's a journalist named Katie Halper who interviewed her, and she released a portion of the audio, I think yesterday, on Twitter. And she said that there's like the full interview is going to be coming out soon. But basically what happened was that when there was like that story, when the story happened like earlier in the primary season, and all these women were coming out saying that he was like being handsy with them and groping them, she tried to come out then. She started to say that, and she didn't say like the full story, but she said that like sexual misconduct or whatever.
Yeah.
But she got so torn apart in the media and online, and was getting smeared as a Russian agent.
Yeah.
And so she didn't keep coming forward.
Mm-hmm.
And she talks about that in the interview, and she says, if you want to know why women don't come forward, like, and she also went to Time's Up movement to see if they would help her, and they told her that because Joe Biden is a federal candidate, that they can't represent her because it could jeopardize their nonprofit status.
So Time's Up only when it's convenient for them, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically. So it's like, okay. So a lot of people have been like going at Alyssa Milano online, because she hasn't said anything about this, and people are like, yo, what the fuck is up with that? But yeah, so that's essentially the story, and I feel like it's really getting brushed to the side by a lot of the media in a way that is very upsetting to me. And especially because like I've had so many people, like, because I support Bernie, like accuse me of not being a real feminist or whatever because I support
Why? I thought most feminists like Bernie. Did he do something that we don't know about, or?
No, I mean, a lot of people who hate Bernie, I hear them say that he's
because of the Bernie Bros.
Because of Bernie Bros, but they also say that Bernie is misogynist, and they say that he was misogynistic towards Hillary in 2016. But then when I say, okay, let's talk about that, like, what did he do that was misogynistic? then they don't have any, they like, anytime I try to like be like, okay, but what is it that makes you say that? They don't have anything to say. And I'm like, I would love to talk about that. If there's stuff I don't know about, like, let's talk about it. Like, there was like some sexual harassment from like one of his, like a staff member, but I don't think it was like a person that he even like knew, you know what I mean? But they like fired the person. Like once they found out about it, they fired them immediately. And like,
oh, so it was like somebody that worked for him.
yeah, it was like some staff member, you know?
All right. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah. So, you know, and like Joe Biden's also, I mean, Anita Hill was, and he's not been great on abortion. And, you know, there's a lot of things that aren't, you know, super feminist about Joe Biden. But yeah, I mean, I have a friend who literally ended our friendship because I support Bernie. And she was like, I thought you were a feminist. Actually, she got mad at me because I was making jokes about Hillary Clinton, which I feel like that's got to be fair game at this point. I mean,
Hillary is still like, I think she does need to calm down a little bit because she, you know, I don't know. It's just she lost bad Bill. It's just so much that you had a good run, but now it's time to like, you know, I don't know. Just
yeah, and it's just like the way that like her coming out and like giving interviews and being like, Bernie sucks and nobody likes him.
Yeah, I know.
And his clothes are ugly. They're so last season. It's just like, why are you being a mean girl? Like, it's just like, just go retire. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and it's like, why wouldn't you be supportive? Like, you see what's going on. Trump beat you, and now there's a pandemic. So why would you not just shut your mouth and be like, yeah, Bernie or Joe, either would be great. Let's just get Trump out. I don't know.
Right.
Unless, like, you knew, like, Bernie has pictures of children. You know, unless it's not something that crazy. You know what I mean? Like, Bernie is a Satanist. I don't know if you guys know about this, but, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, Bernie. Yeah, that whole thing, like, nobody likes Bernie. I don't get how, and me explain it to me because I'm not super political. Why do people have such Democrats, why do people have such a strong feeling against Bernie Sanders, which I don't understand? I mean, 2016, I liked Hillary over Bernie, but if Bernie got the nom, I wouldn't have like fucking thrown myself off a roof. I would have been like, all right, that it is what it is.
I mean, in 2016, I also supported Hillary over Bernie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't like Bernie in 2016. I thought a lot.
Why do people hate him? Like Democrats hate him.
The Democratic power structure hates him because the stuff that Bernie is against is a lot of, like, they also do a lot of evil stuff. And they also do a lot of, like, shady financial stuff. And they also do a lot of voter suppression and a lot of, like, bullshit that he is against. And he is firm in his beliefs. And he believes that these things are wrong, whether you have a D or an R by your name, which is why he doesn't have either. And he wants to tear down this power structure that keeps the rich rich and the poor people poor, and the rich Democrats who depend on that power structure don't want that torn down. So that's essentially why.
Okay. And then what is the thing with Bernie Brothers? Because I've looked on Twitter for a Bernie brother, and maybe I just don't try hard enough, but I never found like a really toxic Bernie supporter. What's the thing about Bernie Brothers? I'm sorry. I'm like such a noob about this. But
no, it's fine.
Yeah.
There definitely are some toxic Bernie supporters. There's also toxic supporters.
There's toxic everything.
Like, I would definitely say some of the, like, Kamala stans and, like, Warren stans who have, like, jumped into my mentions. I didn't mean to only name female candidates just now. Also, but
yeah,
I got into fights with Biden people too. But like, I feel like there's so few Biden people on the internet because so many of them are old. Whatever. But supporters of other candidates have been very toxic towards me when I've like not initiated it with them. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I think that it's on all sides. I think that everybody has that. I think the thing with Bernie is that he has the most, like the highest percentage of his supporters are online, I think. And it's especially because a lot of his supporters are younger.
And they're on social media a lot.
Yeah. I also think like, cause like the other thing that we do know from like reporting is that like Russia is already started interfering, doing the same trolling kind of stuff that they were doing last time. And what they've been doing in the primary is that they've been like trying to boost Bernie. And the like way that it's been twisted in the media is that it's like, oh, Russia loves Bernie and Russia wants Bernie to be president, ergo Bernie is bad. But that's not actually true. They just know that by promoting Bernie, they can like create this discord amongst the Democrats and like
Yeah.
create this infighting that will tear apart the Democratic Party. And lo and behold, that is exactly what's happened. So I
Yes.
also feel like a lot of the times these toxic Bernie bros might actually be Russian trolls.
Working the Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, or 4chan. I do think like there's some of these Russian trolls are actually American trolls, but they're working the same type of angle.
Yeah, or they're
Yeah.
American trolls, and yeah, they're just doing the same thing. And because it's fun to them, it's like this fun game to watch the Democrats like rip their hair out and get so upset. So like, cause that's the whole point of trolling is like you get this joy out of upsetting other people. I'm not gonna act like I've never trolled before, but like not on that level. But it's also like, okay, it also just requires, I think, for some people like common sense of like how to use the internet. Because like if I get like some troll comment on one of my posts, like on Twitter, and I look at the username and it's like Michael018248 9, and it's like that's not a real person. Like no real person has like a random ass word and then like a bunch of numbers, right? Like no, that's nobody's Twitter handle. So it's like,
No.
okay, that's really like a troll, it's a bot, like whatever, and you ignore it. If it's like a real person, you know, and then okay, fine, you can get upset, I guess, if they're being a dick, but like you can also just block. Like I don't understand. Like people like never heard of like the block button.
Oh yeah, some old people got on my thing when I told that old guy to maybe just kill yourself when he will I'll die for my family and the economy. I'm like, all right, well then go die. Some old people got really mad at me, and I just blocked them. It was like a couple of old goofy old road comics that do it like twice a year. I was like, get the fuck, like I'm not gonna engage you. One guy's like, you don't even know what Savage is. I'm like, I know what the block button is. Like he was the guy who had his head photoshopped in a bunch of like wacky photos. And I'm like, I'm not. Let's have a debate. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? I can already tell you're a goofy retard. So
Right, and it's like people just want to goad you into an argument so they can like get you to say something, so they can be like, aha, look, you're a terrible person too, you know. And it's just like that's not why I go online, even though I do definitely get into fights sometimes. It's not the reason why I go online, you know.
I
And
know.
so I'm just like, let me just remove that, because it's like I don't want, and like the amount of people that I've like blocked or removed or muted or whatever for all various reasons, whether it's just like, man, you just said something that like annoyed me, or you just are so clearly uninformed and I don't want that, like, or you're just very negative, like whatever it is, like I get to, like we all get to curate our internet feeds. So if someone is posting stuff that you don't like, you have every right to remove it from your timeline. Like you don't owe people anything. Like you don't owe people reading their posts, you know? And it's just like, that's all it is.
Yeah, there's some comedians out there I don't want to defriend because I don't want them to know like I defriend them. But I put them on mute. That way I don't have to see their posts.
Exactly.
And it works out a lot better that way because there was sometimes I would log on and it would always be like the same comedian like making some insane post. I just put them on mute and it's like, and then I don't have to see them. And then if I want to, I can just go to their page and read all the insanity that they've been spewing, without me seeing it.
And like you were saying before, it's like sometimes there's people who it's like, oh, I like you in person, but I don't like your internet persona. And then it's like, man, by removing your internet persona from my life, we can continue to be friends.
Yes. Yeah. And I don't know. It's just, you don't have to engage anyone you don't want to. Well, Alison, let's get to more. Well, I do want to say one thing. I hate to say like there's an agenda with the Joe Biden thing because that's almost feels like what Trump says. But I do feel like if they went down the road of really exploring this case, I think that would really risk him beating Trump. And I think some of these reporters don't want to do that because to them it's more important to beat Trump than to tell the truth of a story. And the truth of the story is we have two assholes running for president this year. Joe Biden and Trump. I don't know. Do you agree with that or?
Yeah, I think they both suck.
Yeah.
I think Joe Biden doesn't suck as bad as Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And I, if it comes down to Joe Biden and Donald Trump, I don't really know what I'll do. Mostly because I live in New York and I know that New York will safely go blue. If I lived in a swing state or
different.
Like questionably close, I would 100% without question vote for whoever the nominee is, no matter what. But if you live in like New York or California, you can have a little protest vote as a treat,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not going to make a decision on that now. But
The one thing I'll say to people, and I don't know if you agree with this, but I think everyone's like, let's get rid of Trump, let's get rid of Trump. And I'm like, okay, but the guy behind him, I think is the real danger. I think Trump every now and then has like a common sense, and him 90% of the time ignores it and is like, but every now and then he listens to the common sense. Oh yeah, I should probably just do that. But I think Pence would just be like talk to his statue of the Virgin Mary and go whatever that voice said, even if it meant like millions of us would die. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but
yes and no.
mm-hmm.
Um, I do worry about Pence for a lot of reasons. Obviously, as a woman and all of my needs, that is scary. And for the LGBT community, that would be very scary. What's really scary about Pence is that he is like better at being evil than Donald Trump.
Yes,
Like
yes,
Donald Trump is so erratic and he doesn't like play by any of the rules and like they can't control him and that's why he's scary to them, like the GOP. Um, but Pence plays by all those rules. He knows how to be like calm and measured and he knows how to like Trump always says the quiet part out loud and Pence
yes,
knows how to hide things, obviously.
yeah,
Sexuality. Um, but on the other hand, we wouldn't have late night tweets and starting shit with North Korea
mm-hmm.
and all of that stuff. Like all of that stuff, like, oh shit, is North Korea gonna drop a bomb on us? Like we won't have to worry about that. But a lot of other evil stuff will happen,
I
you
just
know.
feel like Pence is the type of guy that okay, let's say like today Trump gets corona and passes away. Pence is the president tomorrow. I feel like Pence is the type of guy that's just going to walk into the White House and is like, let's outlaw trans people, and he's literally going to have the bill already ready, and no one's going to convince him not to do that. It's
Mm-hmm.
not even going to be a thing. He's not going to listen to you. He'll pretend, but I feel like if Trump would have that twinge of like, let's outlaw. First of all, I don't think Trump would ever do that. But I think even if Trump had some type of insanity like that, the right person could probably talk him out of it. You know? You're like, I don't know.
I don't know. With Trump, it's usually just the last person who talked to him. It's what he does.
Yes, yeah. But I've heard stories in like where Pence will have some wacky idea, like the thing I just told you, and Trump will literally tell him, shut up. And just like, carry on the day. Like, like do something extreme and Trump is like, just leave me alone.
Well, when they killed that Iranian
Mm-hmm.
guy, whose name I can't remember, I've been smoking a lot of weed this quarantine.
That's okay.
But when they killed that Iranian guy
Mm-hmm.
and they droned him, that was like they like presented him with multiple options, and that was the one that was like, this one is so crazy, no one would ever do it, and of course that's the one he chose,
Yeah.
right? Whereas like I think that Mike Pence, if it was like, here's some options, I don't think he would pick like the absolute craziest one that no one would ever do.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, I think he would have picked like the regular evil one.
Yes.
You know?
Well, I do think he'll be good with war. So yeah, but I do think he would look to take away a lot of our freedoms in the name of,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Yes, but also to me, that's like the evil that we know. Like we're familiar with that. We went through that with George W. Bush. Like we've been dealing with the religious right for a very long time. So I feel like that's more like the devil you know, whereas Trump is more like the devil you don't. So.
Do you think we'd have a pandemic if Pence had been the president all these years?
Yeah.
Okay, so either way, we're screwed.
There was an HIV epidemic in Indiana when he was the governor there.
Oh, really? Okay, probably because he was screwing everybody.
Well,
He
yeah,
is.
and also because it's a gay thing in his mind, right? So it's like he's like, oh, good, the gays are gonna die, probably.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So why would he care?
Yeah.
But
Clemp, oh no, finish your point. I'm sorry.
Oh, but I just think this is like a thing anybody can get. But the thing with Joe Biden, the one thing with Joe Biden that it's like he's so terrible on so many levels, but including the climate. But I think that Joe Biden could be pushed. Like I think that like Joe Biden's really bad on climate change, but I think that if enough people like really pushed on him, that we could maybe get him to change on things. And also the Supreme Court, which is important, and Ruth Bader Ginsburg is not going to make it another 4 years. So, you know.
Yeah. Okay. It's a strange time. Every day I feel like things are changing. Klemp, let's move to more not lighthearted, but more things in our immediate circle. Let me ask you a question before all this went down. Were you happy with the way the comedy community was? Were you happy with the way like clubs ran their business and stuff overall? What would you say? What would you think the overall state of the comedy community in New York City was before this went down and eliminated the comedy community?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like it was been okay. I mean, I don't know too much about like how the clubs run their businesses, to be honest. So,
Yeah.
but it feels like New York just opened their second location, and it seems like it's really been thriving. And it's funny because I'm past at New York late night, but I just never go, mostly out of like either being busy doing other things or on nights when I like am free, just being like too tired or whatever. And so I just kept being like, oh, I need to go start hitting up late night. And had just made a determination that I was like, all right, I'm really going to start hitting it hard with late night now. And then like everything got shut down. And so I was like, well, I guess I'm not doing that. I had been kind of going through like some of my own stuff where I had sort of, I would say, ostracized myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, oh, I need to like literally put myself out there because I know that the scene is so like out of sight, out of mind. And it's like so easy. It's like this vicious cycle where it's like, oh, I feel bad, so I'm not going to go out.
Yeah.
But then because I'm not going out, like people kind of just probably forget about you. But like there's so many.
Well, the funniest thing with me is like I used to post every day what shows I was on.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't for like 2 months, but I was still doing a ton of shows. And one day I saw somebody at a show and they're like, oh, I thought you took a break. Because I didn't post every day, like, oh, I'm here. So then that's why I make people like, why do you post it where you are? It's like, so people know that you're out there. Because in a way, when you say, hey, come out, see me, I'm doing the show in Jersey, you don't really want anyone to come out and see you in a show in Jersey. You want other comedians to know, like, hey, I'm doing 2 shows in Jersey.
Yeah. Look at me, I'm doing all these spots. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was because I was sort of like just not feeling great about comedy for a while, just like for myself. And I had just started like kind of getting my groove back, I was like, I was really like so grateful to be in the March Madness, even though I ate it on the second round. But just because like knowing that was like coming up was like, oh, okay, I gotta like start getting out there. And then I ended up like having just like so many fun experiences like leading up to that. But I was like, oh man, this is so great. I like fell in love with comedy.
Eye the Tiger, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, this is going to be my year of taking over. I'm going to start growing as an artist, and I'm going to finish that screenplay, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going on all these auditions. Like, the week before everything shut down, I had so many auditions, and they were, like, going well. I had this one that was, like, for a job in Vegas for, like, it was, like, something to do with some convention.
Oh, wow, that's pretty cool.
And, like, I walked in, and it was funny because it's, like, essentially the job is, like, they want you to be essentially doing crowd work with like people who are attending the convention.
Mm-hmm.
So I go in for the audition and the guy's like, oh yeah, he's like, I looked at your website, I watched a bunch of your videos, I think you're really funny. And I'm like, this is already a great audition. Like, this is the best foot I've ever started on in an audition. And then we just like role played some like crowd work stuff basically, and it was super fun. And he was, but at the end, he was like, I don't know if this is going to happen, this job, because the way, is like, and it's like, sure enough, obviously nothing's happening. And he goes, we might be in touch. Like, he was just like, I don't know, he was like, well, it was really nice to meet you. And I'm like, yeah, you too. Like,
yeah, it's like, then why'd you even have the audition?
Well, because, we didn't know yet.
Yeah, that's true.
They'd already scheduled it, and either way, I'm like, okay, well, I made that connection and I met that guy, and like, he thinks I'm funny, and if things come up in the future, who knows? And then I had another audition for like an Apple Plus TV show, which I haven't heard anything about. I don't know what's going on. But
well, I don't even think anyone has Apple Plus at this point. So
everybody has it. If you buy an Apple TV, you get one. You get it for free.
Oh, you get it? Okay.
I have it for free. I didn't even know. I like bought an Apple TV, and I was like, oh, I guess I can watch it. I haven't watched anything on it yet, but.
Yeah, I heard the morning thing with Steve Carell and Jennifer Aniston is good, and there's like a horror show, but I haven't heard anything about Jason Momoa's show or the other ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the premise of this one was interesting. It was like very weird, but I was like so excited to have the opportunity to even because it was like a Ben Stiller produced show. So it was like just exciting but it was like, yeah, I just felt like I got like my knees cut out from under me because I felt like, yes, I'm finally like back on my
Yeah,
shit,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
then I was like, oh.
Well, I remember you had a really good set on the 2 Valentine shows here. Yeah, you did a really good job hosting, and we really kept it moving. So I did feel more of a thing where you got your groove back. You know what I mean? Like, well, not that you ever lost your groove to me, but what I'm saying is, you did feel like you were like fucking at the
I was like
gym.
in my element, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it stinks. But what my point to you, and I don't know if you agree with this. I keep saying I don't know if you agree with this, and I should just ask you what do you think instead of just saying that. But my point to you is like this is an interesting time for everyone who's whether you're in entertainment or comedy or live performances, what have you, because we've never had a complete reset like this. I think not since like the 1800s. Like things have just, things maybe some theater has closed, some theater has opened, or some comedy or some place had comedy, some place didn't. But it's been kind of a consistent grind every single day. And this is
Mm-hmm.
the first time where that grind, whether you're an actor or whether you're a comedian, has just stopped. It's just stopped. There's no grind going on in New York City at this point. And I think that this could be the chance to kind of make things a little bit better for artists and to kind of like say like maybe when things go back to normal, we don't allow the creepy bringer producer, not me, but we don't allow the creepy bringer producer to keep producing. We don't allow this place to take advantage of us. We don't allow, and I kind of get the sense that people are just anxious to go back to the way it was. And I'm like, but we have a chance to actually make it better. I don't know what that's going to entail, but the longer this goes, the more we have a chance to have a complete reset, and something that no other artists have had in this city for hundreds of years. But I'm not so sure that people are going to want to do that, which is weird to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think things are gonna go back to normal. Like I
No, I
don't
don't
think
think
that.
so either. But I think people are acting. I've told a lot of communities, oh, well, it's going to just, and I'm like, well, why would you want, we're doing a bunch of stuff for free. We are doing all this free work. And then when the places go under, they're like, give us money for our staff. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you just had me do free work for 12 years. Like, you know,
Yeah.
not that I complained at the time, but you know what I mean? Like, we have all these ways that people take advantage of us. Why do we want to keep being taken advantage of us in 2021? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when January 2021 comes up, are we all just going to start doing bringer shows again? You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think what is really coming out of this that I think is an overall positive is that I think that we're starting to really see across the board, um, like how important both workers and workers' rights are,
Yeah.
and how important it is to have protections for people.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're seeing that now in as like every artist that we know, it's like both your art industry is gone
Mm-hmm.
and you're likely for most comics your like day job is gone too, right? Because a lot
Mm-hmm.
of comics are like working restaurants or big
Bartenders or
workers,
something. Yeah.
bartenders,
Yeah.
dog walkers, like all these jobs that like have no purpose currently.
Mm-hmm.
um we're constantly putting ourselves as comedians, we often put ourselves in the service of others, um, to survive. And I think that, I think people are really starting to see the value of what we do, and especially exemplified in how terrible all of the online content is. This podcast not included.
Okay.
But just like all of like the live streams and all this
Well,
stuff.
all these live comedy shows with no audience. I
Yeah.
just comedians like you saw on the thread. We were on the thread together. Comedians were telling me that it's a thing and it works, and I'm like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't work.
I mean, I haven't watched one yet, so maybe I'm wrong, but to me it seems like it wouldn't work. But I
I
mean,
mean, here's the. I think you could talk in front of a wall for an hour, but it's not. That's not stand up. That's spoken word. You're essentially giving a speech.
I guess it depends on if the people are muted or not. Like, if you can hear them laughing, maybe that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I hope you have a good internet connection.
Yeah, I just think like long term, if you're doing those type of Instagram shows, you're gonna do long term more damage to yourself than help. You're not gonna become an amazing comic by doing stand up in your bedroom on Instagram. You know?
Yeah, it's like a temporary.
Yeah.
It's like taking methadone.
But
pulled off.
it shows me there's people who just can't think outside the box. Like, really, is this all you have? Is stand up your only thing that you can like show off? Like, well, they took away the crowd. I'll just keep doing it in my toilet. You know what I mean? Like,
The
you
exact
can't do
same
a
way.
pot.
Yeah, I think what needs to happen, and I'm sure we will see this, and I'm excited to see this, and I'm trying to figure out for myself what this means, but like figuring out just like more creative ways to
Mm-hmm.
express ourselves and like ways to do comedy that are more geared towards the internet. And I think that some people are doing that better than others. I don't think I'm really doing anything other than like making memes. But
Oh, you make memes?
huh?
You make memes?
I like put up a bunch of like Seinfeld memes on my Instagram stories today.
Oh, you did? Oh, I gotta look. Okay, so I didn't know you made
Um,
those. Sorry.
oh no, I'm not like that. It's just
You're like, how dare you?
no, but I mean like yeah, I think with like video performance, I think we're gonna start to see different things.
Mm-hmm.
And like stuff like this, like being able to do this with you is like an awesome like
Yeah,
beginning.
I'm sitting around and I learned how to use Zoom and I'm like, why don't I do something 5 days a week and talk to people that I like talking to about this stuff? Because it's changing every day. Like this could be a complete conversation by Monday. Like we could know so much more about Corona. It could get so much worse or it could get so much better. You really don't know. So it's like fun to have these conversations. And also the document, which I think it's a really interesting time in the history of entertainment in New York City. And I think a lot of people aren't getting that. Like you could kind of change your course, and the gatekeepers and the people who see you one way don't have that power. Like you can't say like, well, Amy doesn't book me or LOL doesn't book me because these people are all gone. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, not that they're dead or anything, but I'm
There are
just
no
like
gates to keep, you
there's no
know?
gates to keep. Yeah, so you can't hold them. You can't say that that they're the problem. And the other thing is, who knows how long some of these clubs or some of these bookers are going to hold out. Like if this doesn't come back to the summer, are they just going to go get different jobs or open up different businesses or something?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
it's hard to predict, but I do think like we should try to make it a little bit more of a fairer. We should try not to allow toxic people. This is my thing. When this restarts, we should try not to let toxic people dictate our fates anymore.
Yeah.
That's what I think we should try to do. I don't know if people are going to do it, but that's what I'd like to try to do.
I think that's a good goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, hopefully it's like the kind of situation where the cream rises to the top.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully a lot of those toxic people, like, they might find some other grift.
Yeah, there might be some people who, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I miss performing, but I'm not saying I'm out of love of comedy, but I don't miss a lot of the weird drama. I was having weird drama before all this
There's
went
always
down.
drama.
Always drama. I don't miss that. I don't miss like, well, you had a great set, but you didn't say bye the right way, or the book like there was a guy who stopped booking me because I didn't like Batman v Superman. I mean, like I just don't miss that stuff. It's like really, that's a true story, by the way.
I believe it.
Yeah, I mean, like just that type of level of like pettiness, insanity. It's like I don't miss
Yeah.
that.
And what I hope is that like, I mean, I'm sure some people will always be like that, but I hope that like as a collective, once we like come out of this, there's like will be a stronger sense of camaraderie for having all gone through this, and like maybe a stronger sense of empathy amongst comedians.
And maybe a little bit more perspective. Like the reason why I quit caring was my mom died, because I saw how very trivial my mom's care was to a lot of the workers, and how we treated everything at the comedy club as life and death. And I'm like, I can no longer treat comedy as life and death. When I literally had my mom's life and death, and people were playing. I called the doctor one day. He said he was going to meet me playing Candy Crush in the hallway. He was supposed to meet me about like whether or not we should shut my mom off. And now these people are overwhelmed. So now they can't play Candy Crush. So who's laughing now?
Hashtag not all doctors.
Well, okay, no, I know, not all doctors. What I'm saying is, when I saw that, like if you had said, okay, if Damon Wayans needs to see me in the green room, right, and the owners of Caroline's caught me playing Candy Crush by the staircase while Damon Wayans went, oh my God, they would have reacted like they caught me, at Michael Jackson's house. Like they would have reacted like so, and like really like Damon Wayans coconuts aren't that serious. Life or death is serious. But yeah, I hope people gain perspective of what's really important, and that comedy should be fun, and that we are it's an amazing business, and when it's done right, it's like the best business in the world, you know.
What I really hope is that people realize that we can have fun, do comedy, make
Mhm.
people laugh, make money, and be nice to each other.
Yes,
That
this is
might
not that
be
hard.
that might be a pipe dream, but that's my hope for
That's
the
my hope.
comedy
Well, that's why I
world.
say we should get rid of it, because there are some toxic people in comedy that, you know, they'll do all those other things, but they won't be nice to people. And I'm saying, like, maybe those toxic people can go into investment banking, go back to investment banking or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
Allison, where can people find you on social media? I know you're still doing your RPG podcast, or is that on hold now for now?
Yeah, no, we are pretty ahead of schedule for recording, so we will be recording episodes until we're out of them, and hopefully by that point we'll be able to record again together. But my podcast is called The Tableverse. It's an RPG podcast, live action Starfinder homebrew. I know what some of those words mean. And it's very fun. They edit it very nicely, so it kind of plays more like an audio play. There's like sound effects and music, and it paces really well. So it's a fun time. If you're looking for something to binge, it's a great place to start. It's very like Firefly meets Guardians of the Galaxy. And then online, you can find me at Alison Klemp on everything with one L. And that's me.
That's it. Find her on Twitter. She's beating up everybody that on
I'm a
Twitter.
spitfire.
Yeah. That's what you are. There you go. Allison, thank you so much. Wait, hold on. I gotta get my plugs before I say goodbye.
Do your plug.
Yeah, let me do this. So don't forget, every Friday's Gootz's Disney Pod. Allison was on it. She's on the Sleeping Beauty episode. You know what? I'll put a link to that in the description. So if you want to hear more of Allison's thoughts before the world ended, when she still had hope, you can listen to that. And also, tomorrow will be Oliver and Company with Eric Grooms. And you can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Ray Gootz. And please subscribe to this channel. We're trying to get it up, Ray Gootz Comedy. You can also watch my special on this channel. It's called Ray Gootz Go Down Swinging Live. And yeah, thank you so much. Tomorrow will be Andrew Lee on the show talking about wrestling. So something a little bit more lighthearted, although I did find out I think a bunch of wrestlers got corona while they were filming today, and they had to shut down, and probably all the wrestlers now have corona, and probably Undertaker will die because he's really old. So that's not good.
When I saw that they were filming it, I was like, they're all going to
Yeah.
get it.
I don't know why they keep, like wrestling is literally body on body, and you're like half naked. Like, why?
You're like breathing on each other. And
breathing on each other. You can
like
bleed
the
on
worst
each
thing
other.
to do.
Yeah. It would have been better if they
Like
just had a
even more
spitting
contact
contest.
than basketball.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's so weird. But you know, wrestling companies and wrestling promoters are like scummier than any type of promoters. So I mean, if 90% of this planet dies, if they can find like two small children to wrestle themselves in a ring, that will be their champion. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Allison, thank you so much for joining the show. Always great to have you on as a guest and interview you. You know a lot about more than I do about all this stuff. So it's great to be informed.
Oh, it's great to inform. I love chatting with you, Rick.
I love chatting with you too. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining in, and have a great night.